In a big diplomatic win, Qatar released all the 8 Indian nationals in its custody on Sunday. In its official statement, the Ministry of External Affairs welcomed the decision, saying the Government of India welcomes the release of 8 Indian nationals working for Dahra Global Company who were detained in Qatar. 7 out of 8 of them have returned to India. We appreciate the decision by the Amir of the State of Qatar to enable the release and homecoming of these nationals. Upon their arrival in India, the nationals expressed happiness and thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his personal intervention.
Without the intervention of Prime Minister Modi, it wouldn't have been.
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We're extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar. I think we are grateful to the Government of India, the bottom of our heart, for every effort that has been made, and this day wouldn't have been possible without it.
वापस इंडिया पहुंच गए हम सेफ एंड साउंड और डेफिनेटली ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री मोदी को धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि उनके पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन से ये पॉसिबल हुआ और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ कतार के हिज एक्सेलेंसी द अमीर को कि उन्होंने ये होने दिया.
All right, so those are the reactions coming in from the nationals, Indian nationals, who returned to India. And this is indeed a big diplomatic win because Qatar has released all the 8 Indian nationals in its custody. And as per the official statement, the Ministry of External Affairs welcomed the decision. The Government of India has welcomed the release of 8 Indian nationals working for Dahra Global Company who were detained in Qatar. As we know, 7 out of 8 of them have returned back to India. And just a while back, we heard the reactions of the Indian nationals. They thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the intervention by the Indian government. And just a quick backgrounder. Captain Navteej Singh Gill, Captain Saurav Vashisht, Commander Purnendu Tiwari, Captain Birendra Kumar Verma, Commander S. Pakala, Commander Sanjeev Gupta, Commander Amit Nagpal and Sailor Ragesh. They were arrested in August and they had been jailed since then in Qatar. And today we see it as a big diplomatic win for India. 7 of the 8 released by the by Qatar, the Indian nationals have returned to India. A Qatari court had sentenced them to death on October 26th last year. And in fact, then also India had said that it was deeply shocked by the verdict and that it was exploring all the legal options. It was in December last year that the capital punishment was commuted, again because of India's diplomatic intervention. And just a while back, we also heard the Navy veterans thanking Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the efforts put in by the Indian government in securing their release. They talked of how they waited for almost 18 months to be back in India. The 8 Indian Navy veterans, they were in custody in Qatar. They were jailed in Qatar over alleged spying charges, which were refuted by these Navy personnel. After an 18-month jail stay in Qatar, they have returned back to India. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has welcomed the release and the return of the 7 Indians. 8 of them have been released and 7 have returned to India. They work for Dahra Global Company. And the External Affairs Ministry's statement is up on your screens. The Government of India welcomes the release of 8 Indian nationals working for the Dahra Global Company who were detained in Qatar. 7 out of the 8 of them have returned to India. We appreciate the decision by the Amir of the State of Qatar to enable the release and homecoming of these nationals. So the big news, it could not have been better Monday morning today, as we see the government of India efforts paying off, intervention finally paying off. The death sentence of these 8 Navy personnel was commuted in December, and today we see these nationals, Indian nationals, returning to India. They thanked Prime Minister and the government of India for its intervention and helping in securing their release from Qatar. 7 out of the 8 of the detained Indians in Qatar have returned to India. And these are the visuals of the 8 Navy men, Navy veterans who returned to India. Captain Navteej Singh Gill, Captain Saurav Vishisht, Captain Purnendu Tiwari, Captain Birendra Kumar Verma, Commander S. Pakala, Commander Sanjeev Gupta, Commander Amit Nagpal and Sailor Rajesh. They had been arrested in August and they had been jailed since then. They had been arrested on alleged spying charges. At that time also, the Indian government had expressed deep shock and had talked of securing the release and exploring the legal options. Let's listen in to the reactions of these Navy veterans once again, where they appreciate the efforts of the Indian government led by Prime Minister Modi.
Without the intervention of Prime Minister Modi, it wouldn't have been.
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We're extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar. I think we are grateful to the Government of India, the bottom of our heart, for the every effort that has been made, and this day wouldn't have been possible without it.
वापस इंडिया पहुंच गए हम सेफ एंड साउंड और डेफिनेटली ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री मोदी को धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि उनके पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन से ये पॉसिबल हुआ और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ कतार के हिज एक्सेलेंसी द अमीर को कि उन्होंने ये होने दिया.